Hi, my name is Dan Pontifrac, and this is my series called The Basics of Working from Home, where I'm delivering 6 specific episodes, this one called Setting Up Your Home Working Space. Let's start out with some levity. It must be nice having a job where you can work at home and you have chaos that ensues behind the person at the desk and the office. Well, the reality is, of course, that now that you're working from home, you're going to have to set up a new regime, a new way in which to operate in a workspace. The first thing I suggest is, can you find a place in your home, whether that's a flat, apartment, townhome, a house, that has a door that can shut? You see, that's really important because if you are thinking about how you want to focus in the home, whether you're living by yourself or you've got a cadre of people that are now also isolated in your home, you're going to want to close a door to concentrate. So if you have that possibility, that's what I suggest first and foremost. Set up a space that has the possibility of a door being closed. Then start thinking about, okay, how do I set myself up? Is there a desk of some sort in that room? If there's not a desk, what could I do to mimic a desk? Do you have a card table? Could you borrow a card table? Do you have one of those TV dinner trays? Is there something that you can create that creates some sort of semblance of a desk that you then can put your mobile phone, your tablet, your PC, your Mac, your laptop, whatever it is you have in order to work? Obviously with some room for a chair. That chair, if you're looking around your house and you've never worked from home before, look for comfort, right? Look for something that's not wooden, that has some padding, that has back support, may not be ergonomically perfect in terms of its posture and structure, but don't sit on a couch all day, right? Don't sit at the bar, don't sit at the kitchen dining room table if you can. The more you can have a space in which to close the door, in which you set up some sort of office desk, if you will, and an office chair, you're going to be on the right step. Now, then you're going to probably join some meetings. So, do you have a home phone for whatever reason, people that still have those? Or do you have a mobile phone? Either way, what I find is, instead of being on speakerphone, it's best to have a headset or earbuds of some sort that has a microphone. You don't have that, maybe think about ordering it from whatever store you use, but the best way to participate in virtual teleconference calls or virtual meetings over the web is with a headset, not on the speakerphone, and typically, again, not necessarily using the microphone and speaker options of your laptop. It's not the end of the world, but it's just something to consider. Now, do you have house rules? Yeah, well, you know, the garbage comes out on Thursdays, right? You cut the grass on Saturdays, maybe you water the plants on the balcony if you're in a flat or a condo on Thursdays and Tuesdays. Those are house rules. What are your house rules going to be now that you and possibly others are working from home? So who gets the office if you have an office, right? Do you have rotation schedule? Who's going to look after the kids if you have kids? Who's making sure that the elderly in your house, if you're looking after them, are taken care of whilst you're still there? There are all these questions, and there's kind of new rules of engagement that you're going to want to create inside of your house. And that's because you still have a job to do, and yes, these are different and difficult times, but you need some focus time. So house rules are really something that you need to establish either by yourself or with you and your partner and your family, should you be in that particular situation. If you do have that door and you're shutting it, I recommend actually creating a physical do not disturb sign when you need the focus time. You could be working on a project or a deliverable, or of course, that could be when you're on a meeting, whether it's a conference call or using a web meeting and you're using a webcam. You not necessarily want to see, kids and dogs running in the background. It's not the end of the world. But again, having a do not disturb sign on the door means, please, I'm at work. Just, don't bug me right now. And then you can have a little bit of more leniency if, in fact, there's a point in which you don't need to have the do not disturb sign. And then you can welcome people into your space. Interruptions, they're going to happen, right? The doorbell's going to go. The other phone's going to ring, right? The kids may pop into the office when unexpectedly they didn't see the do not disturb sign. You forgot to put it out there. Interruptions on the internet, the emails are there's just so many opportunities to be interrupted. And so again, like we've talked about in the past series, you need to tame those monsters of squirrels, right? Those distraction monsters. What are you doing to try and focus more on what you're tasked to do? And don't forget, those interruptions are going to be coming at times you didn't expect. So the more you're proactive in thinking about what could they be and how will I handle them, the better off you'll be when they do actually strike. Clear the clutter. So wherever you've set up your new home office, don't just make it a dumping ground for stuff, right? The Kleenex boxes, the books, the dishes, whatever, right? Treat it like a professional space. When you do that and there's no clutter, it becomes a professional space, which means that that's where you're doing your professional work. That's obviously required as part of your job. So just kind of what I say is clear the clutter, make it your space, make it your professional space, and it will mentally and kind of psychologically create that I'm going to work attitude that you're going to need. Printer. So you used to go to work and you'd print a lot of stuff there. Some of us have home printers and some of us don't. What are you going to do? If you do have a printer and you're one of those people that likes printing things out and reading and reviewing and highlighting and marking up, etc., that's fine. But you're probably going to print a lot more, so you may want to have a discussion with your direct leader as to whether or not you might get, for example, print cartridges covered for, or paper. Just be proactive. Have that conversation with your boss about what it is you're going to do going forward with the printer and the printing requirements that you have in your job. Fresh air, right? If your room in which you've created the office doesn't have windows for whatever reason, get outside. Go get fresh air. Right? I'll talk about when I kind of sequence my fresh air times later, but it's an opportunity for you to just breathe, right? Stale air is not good for the body, it's not good for the brain, and certainly not good if you're sitting on a 60-minute conference call. So try ways in which to either get fresh air into your room or for you to go grab that fresh air and to thus freshen up in your whole body. Now the last one here is about life-work balance. Notice I didn't say work-life balance. Life comes before work, at least in my opinion. So again, whatever your situation is, how are you going to create those house rules that ensure that you still have a life? Meaning, just because you may not have that half an hour, 45-minute commute into the morning and then out of the afternoon going home, are you just now all of a sudden making that more work time? What about lunch? Are you going to work through lunch now just because you're working from home? Find the balance, right? Life is still life. This is a temporary measure, us in our COVID-19 pandemic working from home situation. It's not going to be forever. But there's an opportunity for you to at least say, well, what am I going to do different with my life-work balance now that I'm working from home all the time? Now rest assured, there may be a whoops, you never know in terms of the house rules, and the best example I can give you is back last year when BBC News interviewed this poor chap when all of a sudden the 2-year-old came waltzing in the middle of a live interview on BBC News. And he did a good job of trying to say hi to his own daughter. And then kid number 2 comes waltzing in on the wheelbase pram. And then the nanny was like, oh dear Lord, what is happening here? Best example ever, love it, and he was a good sport about the whole thing. But it's probably going to happen to you as well. The whoops. And it's totally fine. Well, with that, I'm Dan Pontifrac. This is the Basics of Working from Home series. Thanks for watching.